Today I'm going to be talking about multiplying and dividing rational expressions. This is chapter 8, section 3. Okay, so first thing is we're going to simplify a rational expression. We have x squared minus 2x minus 15 all over x squared minus 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor the top and the bottom and see if there's anything that we can cancel out. Because remember, we only can cancel out factors, not anything that's being added or subtracted. So we're going to factor the top, which is x minus 5 and x plus 3. And then the bottom turns into x minus 3 and x plus 3. So now we have our two factors up here, and we can cancel these out, and this becomes x minus 5 over x minus 3. All right, let's do the bottom one. So we can factor out a 20 out of the first one, and so this is going to be 20x plus 1, sorry, 2x plus 1. And then the bottom, we can factor out a 10, and that's going to be x plus 3. The 20 over the 10 simplifies to be a 2, so this is going to be 2 times 2x plus 1 all over x plus 3, and that's its most simplified version of that. All right, let's go to next. Okay, this first one, we can keep 4x on the top, and we can 4x squared on the top, and then we can actually factor out a 4x out of the bottom, and that's going to be 5x minus 3. So the 4's cancel, and that 1x cancels. So we have x over 5x minus 3. All right, this bottom one, we're going to factor the top and the bottom. So we have x plus 6 and x minus 4, and then x plus 1 and x plus 6. So our x plus 6 cancels out, and we now have an x minus 4 all over an x plus 1, and now we have our most simplified rational expression. Let's try a few more of these. Okay, now we're multiplying. We're not simplifying anymore, we're multiplying. So when we multiply rational expressions or fractions, we multiply straight across. So what we're going to do is we're going to factor these two top pieces and put them all on the same top line. So we can factor out a 3x out of the first one, and that's going to be 1 minus x. And then our next one, let's make that red. We can factor this as x plus 5 and x minus 4. So we factored those two pieces, put them all on the same line. Now we're going to factor the bottom ones. So that's going to be x plus 5 and x minus 1. And then, of course, 3x just stays as 3x. So now we can start canceling out. Our 3x's cancel, and our x plus 5 cancels. Now, I can rewrite 1 minus x as a negative x minus 1, because I took out a negative, changed the x to positive, and the 1 to negative. And you'll see why that I did that in a second, because we have an x minus 1 right there, and those cancel, so we have a negative x minus 4. All right, let's do our next one. This next one is x plus 2 divided by x cubed minus 27 times x squared plus 3x plus 9. Make sure we always put that all over 1. So we're going to have x plus 2, and we're going to factor the x squared plus 3x plus 9, which is x squared plus 3x plus 9, because it can't be factored. We got to make sure it's factorable, and that one's not. Now, when we have an x cubed minus 27, that's our difference of two cubes pattern. Make sure we look up that pattern to remember what it is. But if we do factor the sum of difference of two cubes, this is going to be x minus 3, and that's going to be x squared plus 3x plus 9. And if you notice, when we factor that, these cancel and become x plus 2 over x minus 3. So multiplication, we're just combining these, factoring them, and simplifying. We wait for the simplification to the very, very end. All right, let's do some more multiplication. Okay, so I'm going to factor. So I have x plus 4, x minus 1, and then we can factor out 2x from the second one, and that's going to be x plus 2. Let's do the bottom ones. X plus 2, x plus 2, and then x minus 3 and x minus 1. Now we can start crossing things out. We have an x minus 1 that we can cancel, an x plus 2 that we can cancel. There's nothing else to cancel, so we can make this 2x times x plus 4 over x plus 2 times x minus 3. And we are done with that one. That it can no longer be simplified, so we're finished. Okay, let's do our next one. We have x plus 9, x minus 4, and then x minus 7 times x minus 4. So that's all on top. And then on bottom, we have x plus 7 and x minus 7. So we're going to cancel out. We have an x minus 7 that we can cancel. It looks like that's all we have. So we're going to have x plus 9 times x minus 4 squared all over x plus 7. And we're good. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to divide. Now, when we divide, we have to flip the second one and multiply. So I'm going to rewrite this as 7x over 2x minus 10 times x squared minus 11x plus 30 all over x squared minus 6x. So we have to flip the second one, and now all we're doing is multiplying, so we can do our factoring and then simplification. So we have 7x times x minus 6 times x minus 5 all over 2 times x minus 5 times x minus 6. So now let's start simplifying. The x minus 5 cancels, the x minus 6 cancels, and those x's cancel. So for this one, we just get 7 halves. Not too bad. All right, let's rewrite the second one. Don't forget that this term is all over 1. So this is going to be 6x squared plus x minus 15 all over 4x squared times 1 over 3x squared plus 5x. Now, if we remember, we have to red Mustang that first one. So I'm going to do that in purple over here. So we're going to take 6x squared plus x minus 15. We're going to take this term and multiply it by this one. And so we get x squared plus x okay, and 6 times negative 15 is a 90. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have x this one is going to be x plus 10 and x minus 9. We divide by a, which is 6, simplify, which is 5/3, and that's 3 halves. So now we can write down our factored version of this, which is 3x plus 5 and 2x minus 3. All right, now on the bottom of this, we're going to have 4x squared, and then we can pull out an x out of that one, so we get 3x plus 5. All right, now we can start canceling out. We can cancel these two out, so now what we have is 2x minus 3 all over 4x cubed. All right, let's try one more division problem. Okay, so we're going to factor, we're going to red Mustang again as well. But first, let's flip that second one. So we have 3x squared plus 13x plus 4 all over x squared minus 4 times x plus 2 all over 4x plus 16. Let's red Mustang that one. So we have 3x squared plus 13x plus 4. We're going to multiply that by that. So we have x squared plus 13x plus 12. X plus 1 times x plus 12. Divide by 3. Simplify. And now we have our factored form of that. So we're going to have 3x plus 1 times x plus 4 times x plus 2. On the bottom, we're going to have x plus 2, x minus 2, and we can pull out a 4 out of that bottom one, so that's x plus 4. Now we're going to start canceling out. We can cancel out the x plus 4s and the x plus 2. So now what we have for the final one is 3x plus 1 over 4 times x minus 2. All right, we have one more left. Remember, this one gets all over 1, and we're going to flip our second one and multiply. So we have x squared minus 8x plus 15 all over x squared plus 4x times 1 over x squared minus x minus 20. Let's factor. We get x minus 3, x minus 5. All over, we can pull out an x out of that one, x plus 4, and we can do x minus 5, x plus 4 for that one. Now let's simplify. We can take out the x minus 5s, and we are left with x minus 3 all over x times x plus 4 squared. And now we are finished.